About a week ago, we headed to Orlando, Florida for Global Pet Expo. While we were there, we saw some amazing animals and some incredible products. We had interviews with people talking about acrylic made in the USA, a new salt from Dr. Tim's coming to the US from France, and even sat down with Richard from Afishianado Channel to talk to him about everything that he saw at the show. So come with us and see what's going on at Global Pet Expo in 2022. Oh, and there's even bacon-flavored bubbles. Off the Global. That's right, proper old-fashioned. Hi guys, Terence here from Real Reefing, and I'm here at Global Pet Expo. That's right, a huge pet show here in Orlando, Florida. It happens once a year. Come with me, we're going to see what there is. So these are retail systems that they have here, some of the stuff that they have from Seagrass. And you can see here, these are some really cool Heniochus. And these are just like the ones I have in my tank, except way smaller. Multi-bar angel, he's going to go hide. Now these are called axolotls, or something like that. And this is like a freshwater amphibian. I'll probably get it wrong because it's not my thing, but they are definitely cool. Again, I'm here at ProClear Aquatic, and I'm here with Gary Lear, and he's going to tell us all about a bunch of products. Gary, what's this thing? Because I've seen it before at Global before.
Thanks, Terence, for stopping by. This is our 4-foot deluxe display that we build in Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay.
So we have 2 CNC machines in-house that cut all the
hang on
material.
a second. I'm not going to have this in my house, right? Who's this for?
So this is for your retailers,
okay,
your fish breeders, wholesalers, importers.
So this is for a retail location.
Exactly.
So our viewers probably aren't going to have this, right?
No.
So I appreciate this and all, but we're not going to waste our time with this. We're going to go to the stuff that they're going to be interested in, okay?
Awesome.
Let's go that way.
Okay,
so now we're looking at the stuff that you guys really want to look at, which is stuff for our reef tanks. That stuff is interesting, but not that great. So sumps, we've seen a lot of sumps out there. Everybody makes a sump. I'm going to be sitting here drilling you, why is this thing different? So don't tell me how a sump works or any of that. What I want to know is, what makes a ProClear Aquatic sump different from all the rest?
First things first, these are built in Jacksonville, Florida, USA.
Not from China.
Not from China. USA
Go
all the
USA.
way, man. First thing we have here, obviously you know how a sump works, but we have our bubble diffusing tube / silencers. Help really quiet down your filter,
okay,
without getting any of those rushing sounds.
So the water goes in, it does its little motion in here where most of the noise happens usually.
Exactly.
And then it overflows from there into your normal filter sock location.
Probe holders with cable management, which is really nice. So you have your actual probe holders down here.
I can't see it because it's down inside.
So you could swing that by, get all of your cables in there. So it's keeping everything
nice
unique.
And neat. So I don't see that in a lot of them. I do see a probe holder in a lot. I do see a heater holder in a lot of sumps. But cable management, that's pretty cool.
So you have your dosing lines with quick connects integrated again right into the body of the actual filter itself. And we do provide color-coded lines for it as well. The other unique thing about this filter that you don't see much in the market is it actually has a water bypass channel. So the water will flow through here from your skimmer compartment. So you have an adjustable water level gate, which is going to help control the flow through this compartment here. This is what we call the 4-in-1 compartment. Reason why, it can be set up as a wet dry, Berlin style, refugium, or you can just use it as a little coral grow out area.
Oh, so this can be your little refugium area. See, when I looked at it, I thought this was where I'd put my skimmer, but he's saying the skimmer goes over here, and in here, basically, you can adjust the water that comes in through here.
Correct.
So you can have a nice slow flow through a refugium.
Exactly.
And put your, your macro grow light right over this area.
So water's going to go through there, then it's going to overflow and go through the sponge into your return compartment. We also have a nice little bracket here for cable management for your return pump. So just all those little things to keep everything nice and neat under your tank.
And it's pretty clean, no rough edges. So you guys have done some finish work, flame finishing?
Yep, flame finishing.
Only in red and white?
Only in red and white.
So if you don't like red and white, it ain't for you, but I like red and white. This is the middle of the range one. What's this going to set back our viewers?
So this one here is going to be about $450.
$450. That's about perfect. I mean, it's got all the features that you want. Great. All right. Next thing, you got some other containers over here. I've seen a million of these things. So what are these and why are they different?
As far as the dosing containers go, there is something very unique and cool about them.
Okay. So there is no down tube here. So in a lot of the ones that you see, when you have to pull the top off, you got to pull out this long down tube along with them, right? The pickup is down at the bottom, but that seems like it might be a problem.
Why is that?
Because if I open this up, water or whatever is going to go everywhere.
Well, see, we thought about that. So if this is full, this quick disconnect also has a shutoff valve in it. So the second we depress that and this pops out, this flow through here is actually cut off. So you can have this completely full, disconnect it from your dosing pump, and move this filled with fluid.
So you can go clean it, you can go refill it, whatever you want to do. That's super handy. I like that.
And once you're done, you go ahead, plug that back in, and it continues to allow the fluid to flow through that connection.
So look at, they put a little hole in the top so they don't have a vacuum lock issue in the top. They're thinking about it. Retail, what's a guy going to want for this?
On the 3 liter, you're looking at about 150 bucks. So made in the USA.
Made in the USA, you got to pay for it. One last thing we're going to look at, and that's for kind of you DIY guys who want to have an overflow and drill your own boxes. We're going to go take a look at that. I'm familiar with these kind of, slimline boxes because I have them. I have a Reef Savvy tank, and he built one and put one in there. But you guys have your version of this. It's called
the Phantom Overflow.
The Phantom. Acrylic made.
Yep. In Jacksonville, made out of all acrylic.
Okay.
One of the few things that we did that are a little different from the competitor is we made the weirs removable from this, and we also sell singular packs of them so you can have ones to trade out.
Okay. So now I will say, because this is real reefing, I'm going to say I have concern over this if I were running it, because they seem super narrow and they're going to get clogged up pretty fast. So how hard is it for me to clean these or change these out, or what would I do?
So it's super easy. They're removable. We glued them in so they didn't grow legs at the show.
I was just going to say, wait a second. I tried
No, we glued them in because otherwise people like him will walk off with them on us, and then, we're missing them.
Yeah, it's a high commodity item, the weirs for his overflows. It's not for the average guy, right?
No, this is for your DIY guy that really has been doing this for a little while and coral.
But you got to drill it.
Exactly. You got to drill it
That's
yourself.
some scary stuff. Now, there are good videos out there, but if that's your gig and you want to go buy like a 40 breeder and stick this little guy in it, it's probably going to be a pretty cool little tank.
Absolutely.
All right, well, I think that's it, Gary. Thank you so much for showing me some of the hottest stuff. We didn't go through it all because I can't get it all, but these are definitely the things I think viewers are going to like. Thank you so much, man.
Definitely.
Glad to be out at a show again.
Yeah, same.
All right. Special guest here at Global Pet Expo. I get to interview Richard for once instead of the other way around.
This is so awkward because I'm usually the other person doing the interview, and he likes to put me on a spot, so.
Richard, for those of you that don't know, it's Richard Back. He's been a saltwater guy for a long time. He runs the Afishianado Channel. Did I say that correctly?
Correct, yep.
And shoots for Reefs.com.
Correct.
Is that why you're here?
I'm here for Reefs.com, and we want to check out what's coming new for the hobby. This show has been smaller than expected, but usually it has pretty good showing.
So here's the deal. So I'm going to bring it real because this is real reefing. Okay,
real reefing.
The Global Pet Expo's been huge. We've been here when it's been just ginormous, right? And it's clearly shrunken down quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
The fish area has never been like the shows we generally go to. But you are able to see a lot of times some really nice fish at this show.
Yep.
That, again, to keep it real, you don't usually see it like Reefapalooza, right?
Right.
But
right.
They've got all of the big suppliers. What are some of them?
Like ProClear Aquatic.
Okay.
They're located in Vero Beach, ORA also in Vero Beach.
Okay.
And Biota, Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
So they have a lot of these aquaculture facilities that's around here, bring all these animals that usually don't come in our trade shows.
Right, and it's also freshwater as well as saltwater.
Oh yeah, so many like seagrass farms and such. They bring top game.
So we have to tolerate the freshwater guys a little bit.
You know, at first I had that kind of notion, but now I'm looking at it, I'm like, you know what, freshwater isn't that bad.
Oh, so you have freshwater coral then?
No. I'm looking at some of the aquascaping and stuff like that, and it's just, it's inspiring.
The planted stuff absolutely is. I mean,
it really is.
The days of just freshwater fish swimming in a tank are long gone. Yeah. Right?
Well, I mean, there's still some fish that's closer to my heart because I started as a freshwater when when I was a kid. My grandmother had freshwater tanks. So neon tetras, I know they're like dime a dozen.
Right.
I love them.
I love them too. Truth be told, there are a number of freshwater fish that I love.
Yeah.
It doesn't keep my interest level that the coral does.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
But there are some fish that I have seen here today that I went, wow.
Yeah.
That's an up in the game kind of thing. I'm not talking about glowfish. That ain't my gig. I don't like the bioengineered whatever it happens to be. But we saw some angelfish over there just a few minutes ago. We saw, what were those big ones, the big mean ones you said?
Cichlids.
Cichlids.
Yeah, cichlids from all over the world actually.
Right over here, I interviewed Gary over at ProClear.
I was actually pleasantly surprised at their selection and the amount of products that they're bringing to the market. It's not out in the market yet, but they said about 2-3 months, a lot of stuff will be hitting the shelves. I mean, I think one of the stuff that they have out already that was kind of like an eye-catching, but I don't know how well it works in a real-life situation because I haven't had a chance to play with it.
Okay.
Was their skimmer.
Okay.
And usually they have the skimmer and they have a silencer and an airline going, just out. It's open.
Right.
But thing is that this one goes right to the lid.
So it's like a recirculating of air, you're saying?
Kind of, but it's like the actual air that's drawing in from the lid is actually very tiny. Yes, it's very, very silent, but like for me, like I live in South Florida where I have a notoriously low pH. You know this.
Yeah,
Julian actually always makes fun of me for that. He's like, you're trying to mimic the real life situation by acidifying your own fish tank.
There you go.
When the airline is so tiny, it affects the amount of fresh air coming in, and it will affect my pH. I'm like, will it really affect it?
I think you just need to find a different way, to get that pH up.
I do also, mainly I also put CO2 medias.
You have a scrubber?
I do have a scrubber. I have actually a scrubber that's like about 3 foot tall.
Did you do the recirculating thing that Ryan recently showed?
Yep.
Yeah.
I actually have 3 CO2 scrubber back to back to back. Yeah, and I wasn't able to get
that's some spending money on that media.
And I actually also have air going outside for skimmer.
And you still have problems?
Yes.
And you calibrated that pH probe?
Yes, I did. Multiple times.
Okay, is it on an Apex?
I have it on multiple.
He's going to be politically correct here.
No, I have it on multiple different systems.
Yeah.
Apex, everything. They gave me a notification as I was leaving. It was hitting 7.6.
Do you have like a puppy farm, a puppy mill inside, or something like that, or?
Yeah, kids.
Kids, kids, yeah.
Puppies of my own. Yes, and a new puppy as well.
Oh, that's right. He does have a new puppy.
Yeah.
So that skimmer, though, I did see something on there that would concern me, which is all these little tiny spinning wheels. Is that just? Do you think that's a gimmick?
About it?
It's down on the plate where the bubble plate is, right? So instead of just having holes for the bubble plate, which it has some of those, it has these little windmill things in there that spin. And I didn't ask him exactly what that's for, but whenever I see stuff like that, like the hair goes up, and I'm like, gimmick.
Yeah. Well, I like to give everybody, benefit of doubt.
Right.
And for me, I like to, unless I'm proven wrong, I like to take their word for it until I see it for myself. And I like to reserve my opinion until afterwards.
Understood. Completely understand. In all transparency, though, that product is imported from China. Their sumps are built here.
Yeah.
Their reactors that they have are built here.
Yeah, they're all located in Jacksonville, Florida, which is only like 2 hours away from this show.
Right. And we just were over at the Iwase booth.
Yeah.
And saw their stuff over there. I mean, for a saltwater guy, not super inspiring, I guess. And we saw the bio orb that was there as well.
Yep. Yeah.
There's actually a backstory to the bio orb that I won't get into here, but it actually came out of the UK, and I guess there's some drama around where that came from. I don't want to get too many people mad at me in one show.
I gotcha. But we're keeping it real.
Yes. Okay, so here's another thing that you see at this show that I think is catching on a lot. These axolotl things.
Okay, yeah.
Have you seen those?
Yep, I've seen them. But funny thing is that it's now illegal in a lot of different states, unless they're captive bred or something like that, right?
Yeah, they have to be captive, I believe, in a lot of places. But even California, evidently, you're not allowed to even have the captive ones.
Really?
Yeah, California, we don't allow anything there except high gas prices. That's it. But yeah, these things are, I think in any other world they'd be creepy looking, but somebody told me that they're now kind of like an Asian anime thing that they have associated with that, and some...
My daughter saw it on YouTube, and now she's begging me for one for weeks now.
This is what I heard.
Yeah.
But in any other world, those are the creepiest looking animals ever.
And they're so slow, you try to feed them and they'll drop, and then 3 seconds later they react.
Yeah.
You see, there's so many videos like that all around, and people actually draw with the an erasable marker on the glass, and they don't move.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
They put the glasses and then the mustache, and they just stay still. So
that sounds like an exciting animal to keep.
Right. When you come to this type of like an all-around pet show, it really puts you in a perspective real quick.
Well, yeah, because you can see how many companies, and it used to be a lot worse, are selling like dog bones, like chew toys.
Yeah,
there's like everywhere you look, there's a chew toy.
The place is still pretty big, regardless of how condensed we are right now. But even then, like 90% dogs and cats.
Yeah, it's dog, cat.
And very, very small section for aquatics. I mean, it's just, it speaks volume of the size of our hobby.
You'd like it to be bigger, for sure.
For sure, definitely.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm going to go back out and try to see some more stuff and shoot some more video. Is that what you're going to do too?
Yes, sir. You know, B-roll is life. So
we get paid the big money for that, man. You know that.
Well, you do. You do the real reports. So
I do real reefing, but the payday, I don't know about that. But you know, hey, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, and who knows, maybe someday.
Right. Definitely.
So, all right, man. Take it easy.
Thanks for having me.
Yep, absolutely. Switching it up.
Right.
From Dr. Tim's. They got a whole bunch of new products. They're expanding out to a lot of products, and one of those products is a salt that you guys are having for marine aquariums.
Correct.
It's coming straight from the source. I've got the guy from the source here. It's Thomas from ASF, okay? And he's going to tell us all about this new salt that you're bringing to America. So, it's salt.
Salt, yeah, proper salt.
What is different between your salt and anybody's salt in like 2 sentences?
High consistency and high quality management.
Okay.
So that means whenever you do a water change with our products, you will have the same solution from January 1st to 31st of December, whatever batch number you have.
So you said one of the things is its consistency.
The thing is, when you do manufacturing of salt like what we have, the idea is to have a consistency all through the bucket. That means wherever you take a salt samples from the bucket, once being put in solution, you will have the same results.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that not every bucket have the same composition, but once in solution, you will get the same results.
So what you're saying is in the manufacturing environment, obviously some components are maybe heavier, or when they mix, they basically settle out in different ways.
Correct.
In the mix.
It really depends on the way all the particles in the salt are being processed.
Okay.
So that means even though the particle size might not be exactly the same, if they have roughly the same weight and if you have a good blending, it won't separate that easily. You would need a vibration plate, and then you need to vibrate a long time.
Right.
So no, in order to
it's pretty homogenized once you get it into a bucket.
You know.
So how do you keep it the same then? For you say 12 months of the year, every one of your batches identical.
That's
how do you do that?
manufacturing secret.
Oh, nonsense, man. We got to get some of this out of you.
You have to be honest. When you buy some raw materials, for example, you buy magnesium chloride. When you have magnesium chloride hexahydrate, usually it's 47% of magnesium chloride, but that still means you have 53% of something else.
Other stuff.
But from batch to batch, from the manufacturer, it's 47 minimum. You could be 48.
Okay.
So that means you have more magnesium and it reduces all the other elements. So you have to compensate all the time.
So I'm going to predict what you're going to say, which is other manufacturers, they take the word of whoever's giving them their supply, they mix it together, and if the source materials were slightly off, slightly higher or what have you, because they have a minimum that they're supposed to hit.
Correct.
Then your resultant batch would be different, and you probably test the components individually to find out exactly what they are?
I can't say how it is done, but the idea is to adapt the formula all the time so that you have consistency when it's in solution. And we test the end batch as well.
Sure.
And if this one is not good, it's just not put on the market.
Okay.
If it does not reach the parameter you must have.
But it's not minimum, you're saying it matches?
Yeah, it matches.
Okay. Do you provide an ICP for every one of your batches, or it's not necessary because they're all the same?
In fact, they're all the same.
They're going to be skeptical.
About
they're going to make your water. They're going to send it out to 3 or 4 ICP places and get the numbers back.
Different results.
Exactly.
I run some tests in France for fun with a friend.
Okay.
So we went into the sea and we take proper seawater samples,
sure.
Send it to 4 labs in Europe. Well, yes, 4 different results.
Yeah. Right.
Well, I mean, ICP test is a good thing that it
sure.
exists.
Right.
For
right.
what we need, the detection limit is complicated. We have our own lab where we do the everyday test. So every batch is tested, and we still have every batch in storage.
Okay.
That means you have a batch number on the bucket. If you got an issue,
right.
you can call back this batch and remake a proper lab test, or go to an independent test lab. You can have independent test labs that are validated by the government,
Always trust the government. I always trust the government.
Yes.
So it's consistent. What are those numbers, those consistent numbers? The Holy Trinity.
The specific gravity, at which one?
At 35 ppt, what are the 3 values?
So you will have 440 in calcium.
Perfect.
1,350 in magnesium.
Perfect.
And no, you wanted alkalinity maybe?
Yes.
So between 8 to 8.5 DKH.
Okay, so good. That's in the spot I like to tell people to be, which is right around 8.5. You talked about contaminants. I think I heard you say something about contaminant free. And what is your thoughts in general about a clean mixing container? Should we care about having a clean mixing container when we mix up salt? The question I'm asking is when I mix up my salt.
Yeah.
Okay. If I get film in my mixing container because of the salt, and there are salts out there, very popular salts that are known to do more grime, whatever you want to call it, byproduct or whatever it is, in your mixing container, and there are other salts which mix super clean.
Once again, this could happen to be calcium carbonate coming off. I'm talking about a known salt in the US, which is Reef crystals, for example. Reef crystal is at the limit of calcium carbonate precipitation.
Okay.
So if you let him stand without having animals bringing the calcium or whatever, it will precipitate.
And will it stick to the walls and be brown? Because that's what I'm talking about.
It's going to be brownish because in Reef crystals, for example, you have vitamins.
Okay.
Vitamins are colorful, and the calcium precipitate will have some colors.
But it's on the walls and everything too, right?
I don't know how much they have, but tell you the truth, it will precipitate at one point. It's going to precipitate.
So basically, it's not like heavy metals or other stuff that we'd be worried about that's necessarily in the salt that we're mixing. But it is changing the makeup of the salt as it sits there if nothing's in that water. Okay.
For me, the water, what I do, I usually have arrow water when I want to do my water change.
Okay.
When you have a proper salt, you can do your water change in 5 minutes.
I like that. He's like, when you have a proper salt.
In 5 minutes, you can do. In 2 minutes, it's crystal clear. In less than 5 minutes, your pH is rich. So if the temperature is good, don't shock your tank with cold water.
If you're a smaller tank, yes. Yes.
Please, then you can do your water change.
Okay, so when you're making, water, it's great that you got a salt that you can mix it up and it's ready to go pretty fast, right?
Yeah.
Last thing we're going to talk about, obviously this is packaging, and man, it is the lightest salt on the planet.
Correct. You're very strong. It seems you exercise a lot.
But all joking aside, it is a strange looking bucket. Tell me why. Is there a reason why it's strange looking?
Yeah, there are. One particular reason is the way you hold it.
Okay.
So I think you've all been there when you have your 20 or 25 kilo bucket like this.
Right.
Almost impossible to carry. No, in that case, it's straight to your leg. You should work in the salt manufacturing process. Easy to lift.
Okay.
No, that's the main issue.
That's the main reason.
It's easy to carry.
Yeah, that's one part which is going to be interesting to see how the public in the US will react to the bucket, because
we'll see. This bucket mixed will do 150 gallons at 1024.
And only one type, right? So there's not like one for reefs and one for fish only. You're going to have one.
This is more SPS.
Right, with those numbers that you told me, absolutely. But you're not making like 2 different versions of the same salt.
No, not now.
Well, I'm going to buy some of this, and I'll give you the rough feedback. Give you the honest feedback on it, okay?
It's great pleasure.
Absolutely. I really appreciate it, Thomas.
Thank you so much.
So much for having the interview. All right, guys. I'm in fish, but when it comes to anything, bacon makes it better. Come on, we all know that. So now you can blow bubbles that taste like bacon, okay? Yes for your pets, but even more yes for me. So he's got a little vaporizer there.
Okay.
Sorry, you can't say vaporizer at a pet show and not it mean something else. So here we are at the Global Pet Expo new product showcase, and hopefully there's a lot of cool stuff in there. Sometimes you see some real gems that are hard to find out on the floor because everything's all mixed in, but you come in here and you see something you just didn't see out there. So let's go inside. So as you guys can probably see, there's only one long row of products in the new product showcase that are for fish. So this is not a big event for the aquatics guys. There are some cool things here, but definitely not as impressive as previous years. But, you know, we're coming out of a pandemic, so what do you want? First place, you guys aren't going to believe this. This does have to do with the, you know, saltwater aquatic industry, for the reef keeping industry. How many of us have had anemones crawl around the tank? They get into our power heads, they get chopped up, they sting corals, everything. I'm telling you what, Penplax has the solution. It is remote-controlled sea anemones. Come on now. Who doesn't want a remote-controlled sea anemone? I don't know. I may put this in my tank. Seriously, the green one looks pretty cool, flows with the water, and I can change the colors, and it won't sting my corals. So, first place, right there, Global Pet Expo for Aquatics, is a plastic anemone. I know it's kind of kooky, but it makes a lot of sense for us, right? Now, again, saltwater guy, don't have a single freshwater tank, but one of the things I have been looking at that is easy to take care of in my kitchen in the freshwater area that I think I might be able to handle is a beta. But I don't want to put together all the gear, but Fluval has put together a cool little beta kit, complete with a light and all of the stuff inside that you'd want to have for your beta, and a moss ball and a whole bunch of other things that they have. And so that might come soon on Nancy's kitchen, you know, counter. I don't know. With a beta fighting fish and maybe a couple of real plants instead of the fake ones. So one of the things obviously we have to do is clean the outside of our glass, and the guys from ZoomEd have a brand new cleaner out. It actually got second place here in the new product showcase, and it's for the outside cleaning glass. It's called Wipeout. And Wipeout evidently is completely safe. It's non-toxic for reptile fish and plants. And here they show it with an aquarium that had water spots all over it, and next to it super clean. We're going to check it out at their booth, maybe try it out for ourselves and see if it does what it says. One of the companies that's bringing a whole bunch of new products into the terrarium and tree frogs and I guess you know, all of these new kind of pets that are coming into people's homes are the guys from Exoterra, another Hagen company. And they've got a lineup of some terrariums that we saw, I think, on our first day. They're pretty cool. They're here in the product showcase. This one in particular won first place. And this is something I'm going to be looking into. Again, this is not reef keeping, I get it, but I don't know. I kind of like the idea of the dart frogs in the terrarium. I don't know if I'm going to do like lizards or anything, but this looks pretty darn cool. And it's got bioactive media, which is like, it sounds like something from an aquarium, right? Super good ventilation. It's got great lighting on it. Looks very something that we're pretty familiar with. Water change drain. So I don't know. This is something I think I'm going to look into. Batman, Batman. Look at that. Very cool, huh? Whenever Teddy's helping me with the aquarium, I always got to have a little brew for him. We got Best Bud's craft brew right here whenever he's helping me with the aquarium.
There you go.
Ah? There's the Bixby booth. Teddy's favorite food. Okay, so you only see a few cool things when you come to a pet show, you know, that stand out, because you see lots of dog toys and collars and leashes, but what you never see is the man, Machete.
But we have Machete.
Nothing like Machete right there, huh? Representing the pet brand. Love it. Love it. So if you made it this far, thanks for watching. Do us a favor, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, because the next video you're not going to want to miss. We head out in our RV all the way out to Atlanta, Georgia for the MACNA Aquatic Expo. So stay tuned for that one. Quite the amazing country we have.